Hey jerks, long time no talk. Sorry about that. I did say I was gonna end this channel, and I kind of am, but you know, the videos will be up forever, so enjoy. Anyway, I wanted to give you an update about what's going on. Okay, so number one, the 1990 is great. Love it. I did buy a fourth. This isn't actually it, but I bought a fourth trunk lid. This is actually a trunk lid that I traded with somebody because I sold him a different one. Here's the piece of garbage that I bought, and I shouldn't have because it's not nearly as good as I thought it was. That's my original over there. That's Angel's over there. And I think there's another one floating around here somewhere. No, yeah, I don't know. Anyway, what I did was I raped Angel's spoiler off of it, and I finished it up real nice and repainted it, and that's gonna go on this thing. This trade, he didn't like the holes in it, so all I did was I got a little grommet kit like this, and half of the grommets have solid, half of them have holes, like you'd expect a grommet to be. Anyway, I just stuck a grommet in the little holes right here, and this hole is going to be covered up by the wing when I put it on. So it's going to look real nice, and this is the best paint of any trunk lid that I've got. So I'm going to use that on the 90, and hopefully I won't be too annoyed by these grommet holes. We'll see. All right, so the cum stain is driving great. It's running great, turbo's great, everything's great. And here's the story on the cum stain. I've now had it for about 1.5 years. I don't know how many miles I put on it, probably 4,000 maybe, I don't know. The turbo manifold, which I had to replace, that was approximately 6 months ago, maybe 7 or 8 months ago, and it's great. Everything is friggin' great with it. I did have one situation where the bolts kind of abandoned it, so a couple of bolts just decided to get the fuck out of there. So I replaced them, put some Loctite on them, and everything's been running great since. So that is still my daily. I still drive that Miata more than any of the other ones. And today, oh, here's the 2016. And the 2016 is great. I really don't drive it that much. One of the reasons why I don't drive it that much is I've always been really disappointed with wheel gap and how high the factory decided they were going to have this car. So today we're gonna fix that problem, because I happen to have in my possession some BC coilovers, BC Racing coilovers, the BR type. I bought them from a guy who I guess sold his ND, and with it I also got some wheel spacers, so I'm not going to look like hovercraft mode, and they are 25 millimeter and 20 millimeter. So fronts are going to be 25 millimeter, rears are going to be 20 millimeter, and they're the really good kind too. They are the hub centric ones, and I absolutely recommend, if you're going to do wheel spacers, it's a good idea to get the hub centric wheel spacers. I got the cheap bullshit ones on the 90, and I think I just got lucky by how I installed them, so I don't have any crazy wheel jump. You would have a balancing issue if you don't get the non-hub centric wheel spacers on just perfectly right. So I got lucky with that. Plus, I don't really go more than 60 miles an hour in that thing anyway, so no damage. This I do go fast in, so I want to make sure that the wheels don't fly off the car. Okay, so let's get started. I have no idea really what I'm doing. I watched one video. There's not too many videos out there about suspension on the ND, and the ones that I did see, they weren't that great. So I'm gonna make my own. Let's get started. First thing I gotta do is jack it up, and I have never jacked up this car before, so I don't even know where the jack points are. Let's do that. All right, so the jack points are along the same pinch weld that would be on an NA, although it's a little harder to kind of get to because the ND has a lot of spacing between the pinch weld and the front of the side of the car. So that's where I got it going on, and Gonna jack up this car. First time ever. Great. Let's see if we got the same 50-50 weight balance as an NA. Sure does look that way. All right, it's on its 4 jacks. It was making weird cracking noises when I was doing this. I probably should put the jacks here in between these 2 little bumps, but I did that on the other side, didn't do it on this side. Next step is to get the wheels off. All right, now that we got the wheels off, we can see the suspension, and it looks pretty similar to how the front anyway, looks pretty similar to how the NA looks. You've got your upper control arm, A arm up here, and a lower control arm down there, which is, you know, it's an unequal, but still looks pretty cool. This is our steering linkage, and from what I understand is you have to undo this sway bar right here, and then I don't know if we have to undo these, or I think I do have to disconnect the entire A arm up here, and then this drops down, and it's just this bolt right here to take it out, plus the 3 that are holding it up to the shock tower up there. Now, when you come around to the back, it's a bit different. There's a whole bunch of linkage back here that I'm not familiar with, but I guess this is, instead of having an A arm, you have individual linkage. So it looks like I'm gonna have to be removing this sway bar link, and then both of these to get this out. So let's get started, I guess, on that. All right, it's probably the 4th time I've ever opened the hood. If you have the brace. Here are the 3 bolts holding 1, 2, and 3, holding in the shock from the top. Mazda was nice enough to make these 2 different, 1 big plate that this sits on, so you don't have to remove it to get to these 3 bolts. Let me try to get those. Those appear to be a 14, maybe a 12. They are indeed a 14, and they're not impossible to get to. They're just not very easy. Can't even see where it is. Right here. I think I can get to that. There we go. Not bad. Three down. Okay, and now I got to work on getting the upper control arm off. To get the upper control arm off, either side is a 17, and I just decided to use a box wrench to hold the nut in place, and I was taking off the bolt this way. In the NA, this is 1 long bolt that goes through both knuckles of the upper control arm. They decided to make it 2 in this one. The nut is connected to the frame there, which is nice. So you don't even need a second wrench. You can just use your big meaty ratchet here. Really? There we go. There's a couple of lines going to the wheel hub here. I'm pretty sure one of them is the oh shit, I'm up against the hard line here, damn it. Alright, so this is a brake hard line that doesn't want you to, this right here, doesn't want you to be able to use a wrench, ratcheting wrench here. Don't do what I do. Lefty-loosey, ready-tighty. Okay, well that's a good sign. That thing just dropped right off. I think this is what I need to remove right here. This is a wire being held, and I definitely want to remove that. So there's a little bolt right here. Pretty sure that is a 12. Yep, 12. All right, and again, nothing seems to be put on here by robot monkeys. So I don't know if that's just, there we go. now that this is loose, we have all kinds of movement here. So good, that's done. And now the only thing I need to do is get this bolt through out of there. So I guess that's probably a 17. Yep. And I'm probably gonna need a wrench on the other side to keep that, because I know that's not... This is not nearly as difficult as doing an NA suspension. Wow, that just comes right out too. I didn't even need to... Well, maybe I do need to knock it through. All right, you get yourself a little bolt, you stick it in the other side, and we're just gonna tap this through. Pretty much like this. All right, this should now drop down enough. There we go. We've now dropped that down enough so that I can get the shock out. I hope. Yep, look at that. Ta-da! All right. Anybody with an ND want some nice Bilsteins? Just kidding. I'm not selling these. So, of course, if you're stupid like me, you won't know the difference between the rear strut and the front strut. I do see a sizable difference here, so I think I'm just gonna go with putting these on the front. Yeah, what the hell, might as well. I'm an idiot. So, just gonna shove this right into the hole, see how that works out. And here we go. Okay, this goes in here. And then that goes up in here. And then this is gonna drop into here. So we replace this bolt. There we go. Hey, that was a piece of cake. All right, so I'm gonna take one of the bolts, one of the nuts, I mean, and just get this fed in here correctly. So I'm gonna hold that like this for a second, and I'm gonna get one of these bolts just to hold it. There we go. The 3 bolts are holding it on there. Up top there, just finger tighten those. And I put this bolt in here. This nut goes back on that thing right there. Okay, then I'm gonna tighten everything up. Put the A-arm back where it belongs. That might be harder to do than I think. Let me see. Get in there. Yep, no problem. That is the guy that sold them to me after I had dumb questions for him. Here's the other one. Where's the hole? Got it. I've now got all the bolts back where they need to go. Did you see that, everybody? This is easier, well, maybe. This is easier than doing an NA suspension, because it's literally this bolt, that bolt, this bolt down here, and then the bolt that holds in the sway bar linkage. Remembering to remove the ABS wire. And then the 3 up top, and that is literally it. You don't even have to have your friend stand on the wheel and shove it down. I mean, this was way easier than an NA. Thanks, Mazda. I will tighten up all these bolts, and then I'll see you at the rear wheel. All right, now to get to the backs we have to take out all this carpet. So I might as well take it all out for now. From there. Fixing kit out of there. I don't even know why I have this thing. Alright, so this whole thing is being held in with these. Again, kids, this was like, a set was like 13 bucks. So completely worth it. Oh, that one came out. That's weird. Did I break it? Nah. Alright, so this pulls out. Don't forget, always pull out. Alright, so that's not going to be super fun to get to. So you got one that looks easier to get to than the other, because the other one's right behind here. But I should be able to get to that. Now the other one is only slightly harder. Where is it? There it is. So you see that one sticking up there and then the other is also behind that metal piece. No big deal. Okay, so it's time for a tip. See this metal sheet right here? This metal sheath? This metal sheath, whoops, whoa. Here's a tip. This metal sheath right here, this protects the gas lines. It's the same thing that your NA has, it's just different looking. So this really, you want to get that out of there, because while you can see the bolt back there, you can't really get to it. Now I was able to get the other one, which is over here. Got that one out. That one was easier because you have room above it, but this one over here, see that curved area right there, you can't get a ratchet on it. So you've got like no room to use a conventional wrench or a ratchet wrench. So this bar has to come out of there. Just, there's no other way. 5 bolts holding this in. Sounded like I broke it. I didn't break it though. Definitely take this out, because if you try doing it with it, oh my god, this weighs nothing. So the that gram strategy is really working out. That was like a hard piece of tin foil. The top of the strut is actually in the way of moving my wrench. I can't imagine you can see that from where you are, but I'm having to do like 1/16 turns flipping the wrench. Okay, so that's now free. The other side was way easier to get to, and it didn't hurt either. So like I said before, to get these out, I'm pretty sure I'm just gonna remove these 2 things right here and the bottom one, and see if that does it. All right, that one wasn't so hard. There, got it. Got him. Okay. All right, so I think this is gonna be even easier than the front, because if you look down here, the strut is really only held on there, and I can slide it all the way back to let it fall out of the top. So I think that's gonna work. So I just pull this bolt out. Okay, so this bolt is out of the hole, and I'm wondering if I can just push this backwards. So that's what happens when you lean on your keys and hit the panic button, apparently. Scare the crap out of yourself. Moving like that, and then falling right out. Okay, I have to put the camera down now because I'm stuck. So that's out. We should just be able to stick this right back in, up in there, slide that over the little nub, and bolt everything back up. But I'm gonna be smart. I'm gonna remove these things. If you remember, I may or may not have installed coilovers once with those things attached. This goes in behind here. This goes up into there. Good, all 3 of these bolts are identical, so you don't have to remember which goes where. right back through. There we go. Yeah, perfect. So now here's where jack comes in, because I'm gonna need to jack this up to get the holes up through the firewall on the back, because there's no way I'm gonna be able to lift that and get it up. Putting this under the knuckle, not under the rotor. That would be bad. There we go. It's up in the hole. And just like that, things look to be happening. So, with the use of the jack, the rears are even easier than the fronts to do, because you really only have to undo 3 bolts. NA suspension is really the only suspension I've ever worked on. And I understand that NBs are generally the same thing. Whatever Mazda decided to do for the ND, thank you. Because it's super easy to do this stuff. I wasn't going to do anything to it. Like, I was just going to keep it completely bone bare stock. Okay, so I tightened the bottom bolt here. I tightened the upper control arms here. And that's it. That was it. So it was 3 bolts for the back wheel, plus the 2 to hold the shock into the shock mount. And we're done. I'm done. So let's drop this and see what it looks like. Wow, I can't, no strength in that. Oops. That was a little abrupt. Well, that's lower. That's a lot lower. And yeah, I kind of like it. Kind of like it a lot. See, now Mazda, this is the way it's supposed to come from the factory. I don't know why you monster truck your car, but the wheels look like they fit in the wheel wells now. For right now, I think I need to drive it around, see what it feels like. And yeah, so there you have it. Suspension on an ND, easier than suspension on an NA. Having done this, I'm not sure you have to undo the sway bar linkage. It didn't seem, I didn't actually remove the sway bar from the harness, the frame or whatever. I just basically did it. But I have 25mm spacers for the front, 20mm spacers for the back. Don't know if I'll use them, but for right now, I think it's time to move these cars out of the way, take this one out for a little bit of a test drive, maybe some lunch, and that's gonna be it for now. Okay, so here's the real wrap up. This is the suspension that the Miata should have come with. This is the ride height that the Miata should have come with. Basically, the BR series from BC Racing has taken out about, I'm gonna say somewhere between 60 and 75% of the body roll. And that's one of my biggest complaints with this car, is how much body roll there was. The suspension just always felt kind of mushy and soft and didn't feel like a sports car so much. I imagine that's what the original Miatas felt like, but screw original Miatas. You got to put suspension on an original Miata in the first place. So yeah, the BC coils do the job. And I think I am going to put the spacers on, because now that I'm looking at it, it just looks like they need to be out further. They just don't look kind of right sitting there, especially the fronts. So the fronts are going to get pushed out 1 inch, and I easily have 1 inch for them to be pushed out. But anyway, just wanted to say thanks for watching. If you have an ND and you're thinking about coilovers, it's a good job, it's a good idea, and they feel good, they feel terrific, really. And I'm a lot happier with the ride height. The car looks correct now. It's not as absurdly low as my NA right here, but it does fill up the wheel wells much better. And it just, that's the way, come on Mazda, that's the way it was supposed to be in the first place. I know you probably can't do that because of government regulations and safety and stuff like that, but wow. That's the right way. So thanks for watching this. I'll try to be back another day. My models and movies thing is still going on, although nobody watches those. I just do them for fun. And I'll catch you on the next one if there's a next one. Bye.